And welcome to the Talking Into Profit show, where we bring together experts in their niche to have a conversation on a topic that I know both me and you are interested in learning more about. This is your chance to show up and get answers and get unstuck from all those questions that you've been wanting to have answered by both my lovely expert today, Miss Michelle Griffin. I told you it was going to be two Michelles in a row. If anybody is in our audience, let us know where you're joining from and that you can hear us, that we're live, everything's okay. And also, we love it when you join the conversation. So drop your thoughts, your opinions, your questions into the comments. Be aware we have just a touch of lag before we see them, but we will make sure to get them answered because we want you to be part of the conversation. And today, as I said, I am talking to the kick-ass Miss Michelle Griffin, personal branding speaker, PR strategist, LinkedIn presence expert. Man, you got quite a title there, Michelle.
Try to own my lane.
You do own your lane. Yes. And speaking of owning her lane, Michelle has created the Own Your Lane system and platform, teaching experts how to become noticed, known, and chosen for next level career and business growth. She's got over 2 decades of experience in communication, marketing, and PR. Michelle's done it all. She's been on Forbes, Entrepreneur. She's written, is it 2 books or 3 now?
It's 2, working on my 3rd, though.
Okay, yeah. And so she's got a lot of experience in all of this stuff coming to us from, is Florida sunny today? Portugal, not so much.
Sunny, but 40 degrees right now. Crazy.
Oh, cool. And we are being seen. We've got Richard joining us from Florida. I don't know if you know Richard or not, but I'm Willie and Julia. Hi, everyone. Welcome for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us today, Michelle. I'm thrilled. I'm beyond excited. As you know, we always love these conversations. We were getting going before the show, guys. I wish I had record on everything. But anyway, today, we're going to be talking about positioning yourself as the go-to expert in your space so the right people see, understand, and recognize your value. Because it's not just about getting visible, it's about making sure you're getting positioned and visible to the right people, right, guys? I mean, you want the right people to actually see you so you're not wasting your time online. I know I do. And then make sure you don't forget to connect and follow Michelle. Let's dive in. Michelle, you got anything to say hi to everybody? What did I miss? Something
Well, first
fun?
of all, hello, Heidi. It's wonderful to be here from sunny but cold Florida, Northwest Florida. For all those who go, Florida, cold? Well, I live about 12 hours from Miami. The one tip of Florida to the next, it's a whole different world. So it's wonderful to be here. Almost a year to the day. Well, about
Right?
almost a year ago, I was on the show. So it's wonderful to have an encore presentation. And you were awesome at what you do. So nailed that. But let's talk about the real problem today. People really need to know how to position themselves to stand out and get visible. But let's talk about the root cause. The root cause is that a lot of people aren't out there because it's so hard to articulate their value, that the right people know it and then communicate it and get it out there. So that's why, since we last spoke, I created, well, this is the first of it, but I created the Own Your Lane 4-step recognition roadmap so you can make it super simple to get really foundational on all the stuff you need. Because as you and I were talking, Heidi, if you don't have real clarity on who you are, what you do, and the value and your differentiation, how can you get out there and talk and market yourself, right?
Right? I mean, just the other day, and I don't know if you've seen the post, but I'm working with a coach right now, and she told me, and boy, this stung. And I got to admit this one, but this comes right in with what we're talking about today. She said, if I took your post and I removed your picture, I could post them on anyone else's thing and no one would know. And I was just like, ooh, that hurt. I mean, I know it's not all my posts and she wasn't meaning all of them, but still, she was right when I really got to looking at things. I mean, then that's positioning. That's letting people know. And that way, if your piece of content, because I mean, I know just the other day on Facebook, I saw this girl, somebody had contacted her because somebody had posted her post word for word and they recognized it was, it was this coach's and not the person who posted it. And that's how we want to be recognized, isn't it?
And well, we don't want to steal stuff, but you're right. If people know our stuff right off the bat, that's huge. And that's really what Own Your Lane is about. Absolutely knowing what your core differentiation is, your unique edge factor, if you will. Because the number one thing is we don't know, we don't have clarity on that. And so a couple things happen. I mentioned this on the last live because I did my homework and I watched it from a year ago. I love it. We look off to the side. We look off to the side, just like this coach, and go, "Oh, that sounds so good. I'm going to take it." Or I should do that. And then, so we don't have complete clarity and understanding of who we are, our message, and how we want to go out in the world. And so that's one thing. And then we just start spiraling. So if you're really clear on the 4 steps of Own Your Lane, launch your vision. What do you want? And what's your purpose and why to get out there? Because when we're grounded in that why, we don't have to look on the side. Then we assert our difference, Heidi. We know what makes you tick and what you're different, just like that coach and your coach. That's a brilliant way to say it. Oh my God. If I was to cover everything, you just blend in, what good is it? Then we navigate your presence with that brand online off and on LinkedIn. And then we start elevating that authority, strategic visibility. Anyway, so that's a long thing. But at the core, we have to know what makes us different and communicate that.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we do because otherwise, especially with AI have coming out now and everything, all the content. And I don't know about you, but I get kind of bored with a lot of my feed. I'm doing a lot of unfollowing again and getting those unique people back in that actually have their voice in it, not
Mm.
just swamped out by AI. And that's so important these days because so many people are doing that. The more you can bring your voice in, the more you're going to stand out. And the only way you're going to do that is if you truly get to know yourself and you own your lane. Start showing up as you.
Absolutely. And, since I, started posting LinkedIn, I did that challenge every day 4 years ago. The world's changed with AI completely. It changes daily with AI. We've seen that. Less
Yeah.
how to content and more how I see it, how I do it. We think, we learn, I've observed. That's what I want to see.
Hmm.
Your different stories and takes that AI cannot replicate. And it truly is just being yourself now. You really, I mean, I say be yourself with some strategic awareness of what makes you different, not just be myself. That I say that in the new book. That's not good advice. I mean, yes, it is on a high level, but we have to know ourselves to be ourselves, right? So definitely bring in what I remember when I used to call in our community professional, one part personable
Yep.
and one part professional. Because if you're just like all your stuff, then we don't really know how you solve our problem for us, right? So the blend is what we absolutely need, and human connection, always, every day, right?
Always. And I mean, that's what works for me. I mean, that's why I don't get the people who are using AI to do the commenting. Because at the end of
Mhm.
the day, comments are the conversation. That's where we truly connect. Okay, fine, you did your content personally, do your own. Use AI to help you just make it stronger. But in the comments, if you're using, I mean, we're not there to talk to bots. We're there for the human connection. We're
Yeah.
there to show up as us and really put ourselves out there and make that connection because you want more clients. At the end of the day, that's the goal, right?
Well, business is personal, and relationship built. We go with people we know and we relate with and who can solve our problems. But we know, for the most 9 out of 10 times, we know if it's an AI comment, you're damaging your brand, especially because a lot of those AI comments have the old standby rocket emoji, right? I mean, if
Or
you're
the
going to do
target
AI,
now.
I mean, look, I'm not, casting whatever shade on people. You do you, but if you got to use AI, and I do too, I use it to summarize and to save
Mhm.
time, but I don't let it be my voice because I mean, then you're just like everyone else again. I mean, you're
Yeah.
just like everyone else. So let us be the respectful contrarian or the polite contrarian. Have a point of view or just be it, because the thing that's holding you back is exactly that you think people don't care about is exactly what people want and is refreshing. We're drowning in information and starving in connection and transformation. So be that person who brings it to someone and make that connection. And human connection is what we need to power with, right?
We really do. And really just latch on and own who we are and that little special magic that is us. Because I think a lot of people are really afraid to. I was going to say scared, but I think it's
Yeah.
more fear based on if I put myself out there fully, then people aren't going to like me. One of
Yeah.
my favorite ways to tell people, though, is you can't serve everybody and you don't want to. And if you're not pissing off at least one or two people a day, you probably aren't doing it right anyhow.
I hear you loud and clear. I write about it in the first book, the LinkedIn branding book, my story, how I spent 9 months on the sideline of LinkedIn, good part of a year just wanting to get out there, putting myself out there. That's why PYOT is everywhere, because I know the feeling of wanting to get out there, being seen and recognized, sharing something, and you just can't do it. But here's the thing, and you've heard me say this before. When I realized visibility is not vanity, it's being valuable, flip the switch. It's not about me. I'm just getting out there as a vehicle to help someone with the problem I solve for someone, not all of them, because get that narrow lane. And then it's like, oh, I got to be out there because it's a disservice to them and me, but mostly them, because I can help these people with this thing and they need me. Okay. And so that takes the pain and the focus off your fear and makes it about not self but service, and that's the way I try to spin it every day with my, hey, can I tell you, I have to take a vitamin every day. It's my daily mindset vitamin, much like a daily multivitamin, because I have to tell myself that every day, trust me.
Yeah, and I think mindset has a lot to do with it. And you said something there that I think is really important that we want to really bring out is narrow your lane.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think cast a wide net, I'm going to get more people. But in reality, the wide net and not narrowing your lane is actually keeping you invisible from not standing out.
Yeah.
And I know that's what really you focus on, is really drilling people down in deeper instead of let's cover it all.
I don't even like to use the word niche because it scares the hell out of people. That's why I call it a narrow lane. And people think, well, I have to, serve XYZ or something. No, you can serve it by a problem or perspective, a special
Yeah.
framework, delivery. But it's hard because I struggle with it too. Even though I preach and teach it, it's like when we're so close to it, when we are so close to it, we just self implode because we have too many thoughts. Our voices compete. So you really sometimes can, if you get someone to help you, just see that, talk it out and get that. That's why I do these positioning power hours every now and then, because it's tremendous to be able to talk out and have someone connect the dots for you, because we all have a value and problem we can solve. And then there's people out there who need us right now.
Well, it's so true. And it helps to have someone like you, because while we might can do it for everybody else, I mean, this is just the usual where you can help other people with their sales copy. You can do whatever it is. But when it comes to doing it for yourself, you usually don't see the forest for the trees because you are too close to it. So you can sit down and talk to somebody like you or me or any of the other hundreds of experts out there that do this kind of stuff and really get clear on who you are so that you really stand out.
Mm-hmm.
It makes such a difference. I mean, let's ask our audience here on a scale of 1 to 10, how visible do you feel that you are to your ideal clients? Let us know in the comments. And I
Yeah.
mean, as it is, Beth says she is going to might steal your daily mindset vitamin.
Absolutely. It's something if I miss a day, oh my goodness, I feel it. But we all need it. We're all human. And, some of us are more visible than others, and some of us want to be, but we all have that opportunity because at the end of the day, we all have value, unique value, and we should put ourselves out there. But just owning what is us. And ever since, last year I wrote that book, I learned a lot about myself, and I really learned to stay and, to own my lane. So I find myself less looking off the side of the road for clarity or looking at what other people are doing. I also learned that I was looking off on the side of the road to what people are doing because I'm a perfectionist to a massive fault. And so I was scared to put some of my work out in the world. So I'd look to see, well, what's the industry standard? What are other people doing? And then you spiral. So when you truly know what makes you different and unique, and can I say, Heidi, one more thing that lights you up? Have
Yeah.
you done work before, Heidi, that you can do and people maybe even want you to do, but it doesn't light you up? Have you done that? Because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the secret too. Absolutely.
Yeah, we've all been there. I think doing more. I mean, I was just talking to you before we came on the show about how I'm probably cutting out helping people actually build and learn how to promote and build their masterclass, because I'm good at it. I do it very well, but it's not what lights me up.
And it just needs to be a narrow lane. So if I need to say, if I have this problem, who's top of mind and top choice for? Well, it's you, Heidi, because you've not diluted us with all the things. And I'm guilty of it too. That's why, I got the 4-step roadmap, but let's face it, I can go even deeper and I
Mhm.
can do one thing. And so, it used to bug me and it still does. I say I do personal branding, but that's like saying I do marketing or writing. I mean,
Yeah,
like, A, what does it mean? And B, how? You can go so granular in narrow lanes. So even though I preach and teach this, I struggle with it too. And I need to keep going deeper and more narrow because we're so close to it. We're so close to it. So if,
yeah.
I'm not saying you have to hire people, but just talk it out. Don't struggle. Like, you get help, they say, for other things. Get professional help if you are just struggling with your professional story, because it'll hold you back
It
if you're
will.
not clear on how to talk about yourself, which then leads you to get out there, get on LinkedIn or wherever, and get those opportunities that you really dream of and deserve.
Well, and you just start standing out because if you don't, you don't have the story, then you're going to be diluted. You're going to do all this. And at the end of the day, we're all here to actually get something done. I don't know about you, but I sometimes don't have enough hours in the day. So if the clearer I can gets me there faster, I'm going to do it.
Oh, exactly. And the right people come to you. The right people come to you that you're a fit for. And that's the best way I like to say it. Who am I the best fit for? And vice versa, right? We're not for everybody. And having real clear on who we are and how we stand out in a world of a billion people plus on LinkedIn, and, getting out there or wherever we want to get out in networking events, conferences, in our companies, businesses, you name it. We have to just have some top of mind knowledge, and that's what I help people do with their own your lane. And it starts with step 1 and it keeps going through step 4.
Well, and you want to be, and this is one thing you really are strong at helping people with. Say you walked up in that networking event, whether it was virtual or in person, you want to be that person that when everybody leaves, they still remember you. They don't need the
Yeah,
business card. They don't, oh, yeah, I remember Michelle because she had this bubbly personality. She was so clear on owning your lane, and you walk away feeling like you knew that person, unlike the group of people that you walked away and you're just like, I don't even remember them later. So it is what it
exactly.
is on that. But
That's exactly it. How many times a day are we asked, so what do you do? I think that's the number one thing we cringe on, like, oh my gosh, what do I say? But when we have true clarity on how to say that and we own that, then we can just absolutely keep meeting new people and keep impacting and landing the opportunities, clients, you name it, we want. People get us, they understand us, and they need us.
they really do. And let's see. We've got so Beth here says her general visibility for her is probably a 7 out of 10. Ideal
Great.
client a bit less. Willie says about the same. So not too bad.
Yeah, no, that's good. In fact, the people I guess showing up are hugely visible because there's probably a lot of people listening and not doing it. And I'm not pointing fingers because I was that person for 9 months on LinkedIn too. I just stayed on the sidelines. But I know truly when you put yourself out there, even going to events like this is a great step. Events are an amazing way to start that conversation. You're not singled out if you don't want to post, but you're joining the conversation. And we love that. Absolutely love
We
meeting people.
do. And especially like Willie, he was my first guest for the 2025 season. So he
Nice.
is getting out there speaking. He's actually, and then Beth has just started a LinkedIn Live. It's on Fridays, the Thirsty Professional. And actually, Willie's going to be on her show next month. So we're getting out there. We're all getting out there. We want to stand out. And that's what's so important about this. And even working with someone like you, because you're getting out on stages, you're talking to people, and you want to be very clear about the message you're sending. Because as I was mentioning when we came on, I've done so much in my life that sometimes it's hard to narrow on which stories are the one that's going to make the most impact, that's really going to connect. And that's stuff like that's what you do.
Absolutely. I really help you hone on that professional message that you want to get out there. And that's under the personal branding, guys. You see how, like, you could say, I do personal branding and I help people like with positioning, messaging. And really, at the end of the day, if you know how to talk about yourself, come see me because I'm going to help you get super clear, well positioned. And so you're like, you walk a little bolder and taller because you're like, yes, I get it. And now you can start standing out. You're well positioned and get in line and meet the right people. So the right people you're here for find you, right? Isn't that the best feeling while we're in business to begin with?
Amen. I mean, that's why we're casting this show live each week, both here on LinkedIn, YouTube. We love that you guys are joining us in the comments. And we're always, if you can't make it live, we recommend you watch it, catch the replays over on YouTube, that you're subscribed at HeidiMedina.com. But that way you're notified of all these events. So you can come talk to like Michelle and get your questions answered. You catch the replay and drop your questions. And still, Michelle and I will make sure your answers, you get your answers. So make sure you've connected with us there. And then so Michelle J. Raymond
Mhm.
told me to ask you, because both her and I were talking last week after our show. We were talking about how well it is that you just slip right into talking about your frameworks and your brand right in there on, and when you're speaking, I mean, you just slide that stuff in like that. And both her and I struggle with that a little bit. So Michelle wanted me to ask how to think and talk in frameworks for our brand from you.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you, Michelle, who I know is asleep in Sydney, Australia right now and not watching. But thank you for that, and thank you, Heidi. Because I think the thing when you are having a hard time standing out, and there's thousands who do what you do, and yes, we can get your professional story. One of the things that I've really honed in is having some branded name or framework or something, because that gives people a memory anchor, right? And don't just say I do this. I have the something method or whatever. And that immediately makes me, oh, because we're walking around your potential client with a problem. So when I say I have an own your lane framework, it just makes it seem like, oh, wow, they really know their answer. They have this whole solution. It just makes it more official and branded. So yes, I would say try to start thinking of what you do with a branded name, a framework, or phrase. That'll help be a memory anchor for people to remember you. And so, yes, I try to slip that in as much as possible. And once you have it, it's just part of your narrative. It's just part of what you do, and people remember that. So I hope that's the answer to the question, because I think it's just practice. Get one and practice. Michelle has a new one. Michelle has a new one she just shared with me. We recorded a bunch of episodes just a few days ago, and I asked her. She'll be debuting it at Uplift Live and Social Media Marketing World, I believe, in the next month. So
Yeah.
look out for that.
Yeah. Oh, gonna have to be looking for that one. But yeah, I mean, it is. You are one of the smoothest people I have ever seen, being able to slip right into your, own your lane and PYOT and all of that. Which PYOT, guys, in case I don't know if we translated
Yes.
that, is put yourself out there.
Yeah, I make acronym. Okay, because I admit, I'm the first to admit to a fault that I'm an alliteration and an acronym nerd. I'm self-proclaimed. I love like alliterations and acronyms because it helps. It's easy. Then you can get, you have it slips on your tongue, but it does help branding and recall. Like, the PYOT and now Own Your Lane. And that's one of the things, Heidi, when I was writing Own Your Lane last year, it started as a 7-step back in 2019, and now Own Your Lane's 4 steps. It's even stickier and more simple. So that's the thing. Make it sticky and simple so that your ideal clients can remember it and remember you.
Oh yeah, so much easier to remember 4 steps than 7. So
Absolutely. And they were all P's. I'm like, I'd have to sit there and go, okay, first, forget that. Life's too complicated. Let's make it really sticky, simple, and fun. I'm all about fun. And isn't a branded name kind of fun, right? It brings personality to the mix and purpose too, because I'm a big purpose driven in what I do.
well, I think you have to be purpose driven and intentional. And it's funny because you mentioned they're all P's. Mine was the 6 C's back in the day. So
Yes. We didn't know better. We just get better as we keep going and we realize what works for people and as the world changes. But yes, for those listening saying, I don't just do this, I have the XYZ method or formula. And it just seems more, branded and memorable. And that's what we need to do. Be sticky, specific, and stick in the minds of those we're here to serve.
well, and by doing that, you're actually creating your own language and the
Yes.
own wording that starts coming with you, which makes it easier for people to associate with you. Because, like, there's one line that I'm always saying, comments or content that people
Yes.
immediately think of me when they hear that. Because
I
I've been
can you brand that? Can you you and I we've talked last year about your acronym, and I know you're doing it. January 1st, 2024, I bought the Own Your Lane book domain. And then February 1st, I announced I was writing Own Your Lane book, which is now a platform of book series and a 4-step process. But I worked really hard all last year on developing that brand along with PYOT. That's the bridge. But just even today, someone sent me the sweetest message who said, "Hey, I'm working on owning my lane every day. Thank you so much for all you do. Keep up the good work." Something like that. Well, gosh, I haven't replied to that person back yet, but that melted me like, "Oh my gosh, it works." And it's not that it works, it's just that it's making a difference is the main thing, right? So having a branded name, and it starts really about having that professional purpose, because if I just said own your lane, it's really not about me making money to do it. It's really empowering you to get out there with your unique gifts and how you want to serve the world. That's truly why I'm here and what Own Your Lane's about. So
Well, and I think that's what both of us do. Yes, we want to make money, but that's not our driving factor. We truly want to empower more people in the world to be out there, be seen, get their dreams, their goals, because it creates that ripple effect within your communities. The more
yes.
you can get seen, the more good we can help make happen, the more good we can continue that with more people. And I know both of us, that's more of a driving factor, and money's the side effect.
Absolutely. When people see that you help them and that helps you stay out there, remember, then they are drawn to that. They are drawn to the people who can solve their problems truly with purpose and passion. And when you have real clarity, you can have that visibility. So, really, clarity on how to talk about yourself and what makes you different is the number one driving force to get out there with confidence and then get visible and just start doing what you're meant to do. What you do best is the best way I like to say that, because again, we can do stuff that we don't necessarily want to do. But getting that clarity on how to talk about yourself. I think that's the number one thing that people come to me, Michelle, I don't know how to talk about myself. Or Heidi, you've seen this too. They're just so broad. They might be
Yes.
talking about themselves, but they're so broad. It's like you said, how do I, understand? That doesn't really stick in my brain. So there's a little bit of things I walk people to the claim framework to really claim, your difference. And once you get it, man, the sky's part. It's a sunny day in Florida when that happens.
Well, I mean, I think it's true. I mean, that's why I'm cutting this year. I mean, my big thing came from I was reading 10X is easier than 2X. I know
Yeah.
that's been one transformational book for you as well. And I was just reading where Dan Sullivan said to make your goals impossible. And
Yes.
so I set impossible goals this year because his reasoning behind that resonated with me so much. But I'm applying that to what I do as well, because I realized even last year, even though I had drilled down, I was still pretty broad. And it was
Mhm.
making it a little hard for people to understand truly what I want to do, because I'm not a LinkedIn coach, guys, and I don't want to be. But I can't. Michelle and I both have this this thing. We don't want to be LinkedIn coaches. We use LinkedIn as a tool. Can we
Yeah.
help you on it? Yes, but we don't want to be known as LinkedIn coaches, and
Mhm.
because we do something that's much more special than that. And so I knew when I was reading that, and I read that from Dan Sullivan, that when you cut things down, make it an impossible goal, that it makes it where there's so few options to actually achieve that goal. And I'm like, I need to do that in what I'm doing
It's
as well.
brilliant. For those who haven't read the book, it is tremendous. It opened my eyes last year when I read it, and I was telling everyone. And it's really an offset. I wish I had it right in front of me, but there's a book by Price Pritchett called You Too, not the band, but it's
Beth
Where
loves that
You.
book.
Yeah, it's really good. It's this quantum leap thing. And I was like, oh, I wonder if that's where Dan Sullivan got the idea, because he goes so deeper, gives studies and stories. It's really, really good. But it's just a reminder to all of us that we really just need to get the core thing we want, we can do, and just go simple and go hard on it, because then we will have higher goals instead of just doing the mundane. I fell victim to it too. Can I say get help too? Get really clear, get defined, and get help if you can't reach that goal. He talks about that in the Who Not the How, or that other book of
Yeah.
his. It's
Who
really
not
good.
how? Yeah. Yeah. See,
Absolutely.
Beth, I knew Beth's always telling me about you too. I've got to read that one. It's you too, the book, not the band.
Yes.
YOU2.
Yes. And then he has another one. In fact, if I wasn't on live camera, I'd run off to this other side of my office and get it. There's another one he has called Lucky You, but they're really short. Speaking of mini books, like they're really shorter than this. I mean, oh, it's great. I read mine in like an hour or less. I mean, it's just perfect. But here's the thing. I'm such a book nerd. When I see books that I know for the certain people, I'm always saying, but this one has huge implications because we can all do better. We can all
Mhm.
10x our life. We can all take a look and go, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize I was, doing all this mundane stuff, or I didn't realize that I was saying all this stuff and no one really understood. I was just blending in. And no shade on that because we're all guilty of it. But you
Yep.
and I and our different avenues are here to help people get that clarity on how they talk about themselves and how they talk to others and build rapport with others so they can get to that next level of where they want.
Well, it's always about building those relationships that are going to help you move forward and that support. And we do that by how we talk to people, by how we show up, by how our message is out there. So important to get clear on that. And if we don't, then we're just going to be those little chameleons still over there blending
Well,
in
we
on the.
can't suffer in silence. We have to be around people. I've learned that about myself. Been working digitally for 5 years now, and it's just I realized the last 2 years why I've sometimes felt like so drained and lonely one day. Even though I talk to great people like you across the world, it's like we have to be around people too. I think a balance of the physical and the digital brings an energy. I don't care if you're introverted or extroverted. That's just how you find your energy. Everything we want, Heidi, comes from someone else. When you think about it, everything you want is to attach to a human and a connection. And so you can find ideas, give ideas. They'll say something that'll trigger an idea or a thought. And you can be that same for that person. So I believe that, like you said, what you're doing is tremendous work, Heidi, connecting people with conversation to get to the whatever it is they want.
Yeah, I mean, I thank you for that. I'm definitely enjoying this part of the journey so much and everything like that. So let's see what's for our audience here. Let's get you guys back in here too. What's one action you've taken that's helped you stand out in your niche? I'm with Michelle. It's a word I don't really like, but I do use it all the time because I know you guys recognize what it is. But I like that you're using lane for that now. That's so much.
Narrow lane. Yeah, I have an episode of my podcast from like 2 years ago. I don't know how I coined it. Okay. Remember me, can I just say maybe it's three things? I'm alliteration, acronym, and analogy nerd.
True. True on all
I'm such
three.
a nerd. I am. Like, I was reading this book and I was seeing all the alliterations. I'm like, oh, it lit me up. Anyway, look, we all have our really quirky things, but I find that people actually, learn better in analogies and can remember. It's another sticky point. But I don't know how I got narrow lane, but it just seems kinder and easier than the niche or niche, whatever you want to call it, depending where you live.
Yeah, it goes back to that human connection because even that's what I don't like to use the word leads, although I do use it because people recognize it. But that
Yeah.
just seems so cold to me. Content, again, I was just having this conversation with somebody the other day. I'm like, if you're thinking of the word content, you aren't thinking of the human being you're actually writing that content to, which is why your messaging is probably missing the boat and why it's not connecting. Instead, when you switch it, I'm going to have a conversation with someone and I'm creating this piece of content as that conversation and I'm talking to that person. That's when you start getting those little notes, those little DMs like you did with somebody saying, wow, you really made a difference in my life. And
Yes.
it's connecting because you were talking to that person, even if it wasn't, that exact one, that was still your ideal client. It came through and it
I
makes
love I
sense.
love that, Heidi. Content versus conversation versus content seems so clinical. Lead magnet, subscriber, content. We're humans. Let's treat us like humans, and people see
Yeah,
that. And then I think the number one thing is to find that one person you're talking to and
always.
just know who that is, because that then you get down to the level of specificity. We see, we've all been there when someone's saying something, you're nodding, oh my god, they get me, they understand me. So find who that one person is you're talking to and get really crystal clear in how they talk. And like you and I are talking in this day and age, even on LinkedIn, you can talk like this on LinkedIn. That's the beauty.
Yes,
Okay.
that is
We're
totally
buttoned
the
up,
beauty.
formal. I'm not saying it should be the Facebook of business, as some posts. Find them happy medium, but we want to know the personal side of you, because the personable side of you, right? Because I say that, and some people like, I don't want to be personal. I'm like, just be personable. That's totally
Yeah,
different, right?
I know. I've always said, because somebody's like, well, I don't want to put my whole personal life out there. And I'm like, it doesn't mean you got to do personal, like, you need to talk about what kind of toilet paper you keep in the bathroom. You could just
Yeah.
talk about something you did cool in your business that day, working with a client, or a neat experience, or something out and about that triggered the idea for your content that day, or whatever it is. And I said, that's personal.
That
That's
it really is, and it's refreshing, and it took me, I'll be honest, it took me a long time to get like that, because you come meet me in person when you do one day, you're like, "Oh my gosh, you'll talk forever, and you're so personal and energetic," but you put me online, and probably because I was in insurance and legal, industries, very buttoned up, and so I was trained in that way, so it was hard to peel back the layers, and I always do my best work online, offline though, because I'm such an energetic person. So we're all different. That I know people who are, they do their best work online. Crazy, huh? So we find what works for
yeah.
us.
I'm a combination of both on that one. I can do good online and off. Let's see, we got a bunch of comments over here. Let's see, David. I want the more I talk about what I'm doing, the more I'm connecting to the message.
Nice.
Beth, one thing I did is to not feel like I have to promote everything I do on every platform.
Well,
Yes,
that's huge.
Wally, focus on the right platform is so key. Agreed.
Yes.
Yeah, and Willie, this was the one thing that really attracted me to Willie whenever I first met him in a networking event. He was talking about how he went from being a cop to a life coach. And I mean,
Ooh,
first thing, Willie and I both dropped the F bomb. I mean, that's immediate bonding, of course. But yeah, so here it is. He's like this 30 plus year cop, police officer, and he's like, I didn't even believe in coaching and that kind of stuff. He's got the whole story, but look, he says even when he added the phrase from cop to coach, that it got more visibility in it because it's sticky.
it's
Which
sticky. I
is
love that. Will, I can't see the comments for some reason on my back end, but I'm going to go in and after. I've got to meet Willie. If I'm not connected to you, Willie, you sound amazing. From cop to coach. That's a story.
he's a
Tell me more.
blast.
Tell me more. Awesome.
Willie is awesome. You must meet
Did you
Willie.
guys meet in Portugal, or where did you meet?
We met on a virtual
Okay,
networking called the
okay,
Founders Network, which is
okay.
freaking incredible with the people I'm meeting on there. And Willie was in one of the, they do some one-to-one rooms instead of just multiple
Nice.
rooms. So you get a little more intimate. And we had our 8 minutes, and I was just like, you must come on my show.
I love it. It sounds like someone I need to meet if we're not already connected, Willie. But yeah, and Beth, what is Beth's last name? I'm thinking it's the Beth I know.
Campbell.
Okay, Beth Campbell. Okay,
Yeah.
so I wish I could see the comments right now. That would really help because I love knowing who we're talking to. But this is a great
Yeah.
group.
Yeah, it really is. We got a good group, and I'm getting them all read out for you for sure. But yeah, Restraint's been a little weird lately. I think they're going through a few updates because
Yeah.
normally you can see the stuff as well.
Okay.
So as we're heading towards the end of our session, we still got about 20 minutes, guys. But what questions do you have for Michelle or on this topic? Drop those in the comments since we got that little bit of a lag. And also going to tell you about Michelle's already been flashing the book, The Personal
Yeah.
Branding Planner. But
Yes.
we're dropping the link. I'll drop that. Did you know Restream now has it where we can drop the links live now? That just is part of
Ooh,
the
that's good.
new.
I'm back to Restream this year after leaving. Yeah, that's good. But yeah, I wrote this because it's the first step to getting that clarity of, just answering all these important questions. This was a lot of the work when I do one-on-one assessment is getting clear in that. And then I have a digital scorecard that goes with it, a workbook, a digital scorecard, and even AI prompts to help you synthesize and make sense of that. And then real soon, I'm going to start offering some positioning workshops based on people who have done this. We'll go through together and just kind of work through your stuff in a group format because I think we all learn. Don't you get this? We learn better sometimes when we have other people's point of views and they can see things. And it's just a group collaborative effort. You're big on collaboration. And if
Yeah.
the same people are in it together. So that's truly how you start getting that clarity. You kind of got to go back to center and start it. You do work, Heidi. Do you see that some people maybe just kind of rush into it and then they need to go back and do the work? Or sometimes if you're growing and you just need to go back to center, what has your experience been?
It really is, because a lot of people rush in and do it without thinking, and then they've really got to go back and start dialing it in. And I mean, that's one that you were just talking about, being in the group and really getting to see, getting outside input and inspiration and stuff. And that's what we're doing over in the collective, because Monday we just had one of our big hot seat sessions
Hmm.
where we have somebody come in, present, whatever they're stuck on or need help with. And the whole group was showing up and offering opinions and ideas and thoughts. And it's just freaking brilliant. I mean, everybody left feeling more empowered and more things to do. And I think we all need surrounded by that type of group of
And we feel
people.
good helping
Yeah.
others. We feel good helping others, when it's our turn too. It's like, wow, all these people came to bat for me. That's such an empowering feeling to give and receive. So I love that you're doing that in your collective.
Well, it is. And when you're surrounded by that circle of people, like, you can reach out. Like, I've got you, when I'm stuck on certain things, I'll reach out. You reach out to me. And then
Mhm.
a nice little segue here. Dan Mott, he's actually next week's guest, but
Yay.
I reach out to him for ideas and stuff.
Yes.
He's the creator of the Manifest a Million Challenge. And
Yes.
guys, he's going to be here next week
Mm.
to talk about how to break free from self sabotage, unlock your subconscious for business growth. We're going to be diving deep into all those subconscious roadblocks, not only how to
That's a
overcome
good
them, but
one.
how to change them. Yeah, so that's going to be next week. But yeah, Dan's another one. He's in my inner circle, as I like to call it, that I'll reach out. When I'm stuck on something, and we all do. We reach out to each other, and when you've got those people you can
Yes.
trust, it makes such a freaking difference.
Absolutely. And globally too. They don't have to be in your neighborhood or your local town or city. I mean, I have people, thanks to LinkedIn, that I've met globally, that we pull up WhatsApp and I'm connected in a heartbeat, and we, and cheer each other on and help out, and sometimes these people will say things unsolicited that just triggers an idea, or just, like, oh yeah, or gives you an idea. So it's so important to talk, to have conversations for the word of
Right.
what
Well,
you
and
do.
be clear on what you're doing when you do it, so that you can. I mean, look at you. I mean, you and I mean, you're in Florida, I'm in Portugal, but you
Yes.
and Michelle Raymond, of course, have your podcast. You've
Yes.
co-written a book together. She's in Australia. So,
Yes.
guys, this is not limited to the people in
No.
your backyard.
You'll find your people. I mean, we met on a comment, like meeting at a bar. We met on the comments of
We
LinkedIn
did.
4.5 years ago. And it's tremendous. And, she and I are so much alike. And
Yeah.
I joke about like 9 out of 10 things. There's a few things we like, nah, but I mean, so close. And that's the beauty of it. And so many other people. And so that's why I love how you push, find your inner circle, have that collective, because finding these people are instrumental. And I don't care if you're an employee and an entrepreneur, anywhere in between, we've got to have these people in the business world to really help us see ourselves, champion us, sometimes even ask questions like, I wouldn't say call us out, but say, hey, are you realizing this? Because I do appreciate it when people tell me that constructively,
Mhm.
like, did you realize, or, I noticed this, because we're blind to our own stuff.
Well, and I think that when you surround yourself with the right people, they help
Yeah,
encourage and bring out the best version of you, because you
absolutely.
don't always see it. And that's really what happens. And then if you've got yourself really clear, because when you get around those people, they see that special magic in you and help you
Yes.
enhance it.
So we need people. And I think, and for me, I need it physically and digitally. I need both, because I like to be
Me
connected
too.
globally. I mean, in a million, trillion, zillion years, I would have never met people like you and Michelle and all the other friends and connections I have globally. But I also had forgotten, and this is a big observation of me. I had neglected my local, I mean, we all did. We were COVID, right?
Hmm.
Pandemic. But I
Yeah.
was super active from like 2017, 2018. I write about in the book that I had to start putting myself out there locally, and had my own meetups, and I'd talk. And then once the pandemic came, many of us, we hold up and we forgot what the power of in real
Great.
life. And so now I'm going to balance it. And I think that's, for me, is the best of everything. We're all different, but having someone surrounding you, lifting you, supporting you, and you for them, it's magic.
Yeah, and I mean, it really can, bringing it back to your positioning and getting yourself out there can make such a difference. COVID really got us all into, I
Mm.
mean, because before COVID, I was like you, I was hosting my own meetup. I had a once
Mhm.
a month women's happy hour and stuff down in Lisbon and things like that. And then I didn't realize until later, it took COVID for me to realize that I'm a touchy person, guys. I don't mean in a bad way, but I am one of those people because of the empathy and stuff. Like, you're laughing, we're having a good time. I'm probably going to lay a hand on your shoulder or something, or if you're telling me something sad, I'm going to comfort you. And I
Mm.
am a hugger, but I missed all that during COVID when we weren't supposed to touch people, 6 feet. But I really missed all that. And really got to know myself, and so now I do work with amazing people around the world, but I do balance it with at least a couple of times a month or so with getting out in person. It's a
Absolutely.
must.
5 years into it, and we're creeping up into 5 years of that, the pandemic, half a decade. It's probably time to go, "Oh, I can get out now and I should," and just lean into that because, the balance of both just does tremendous and also helps you practice your pitch, pitch in a relative sense, how you talk about yourself. Absolutely. People get it, and it's practice. We gotta just like you go to the gym to build muscles, all this is a muscle. None of this is like a skill that you're born with. You've got to get the stuff and just start talking about yourself. And the more reps you get, the more people are going to understand, more conversations and opportunities come your way when you're out there having conversations. I mean, a brilliant business model that you preach is talking and conversations. So much comes from that. So I love your work, Heidi. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm getting all the warm and fuzzies now, and I love your work. It's kind of turned into love fest now.
I know. No, but seriously, but I just see it and we all in our own way. I mean,
We do.
we all have our own way of doing what we do best. And if we can clearly communicate that with confidence, gives us even more courage to get out there and just keep going higher. Because another thing too, we can't stay in that comfort zone. I'm doing things to make me go higher and it's scary as hell, but I know that's what's meant to do. We keep going higher and higher and growing and so we can impact more people.
Well, and then you got your people there to help keep that scary out of the way and all that kind of stuff too. And I want to, want to point out something here with this because here we are, we do different things in a sense, but in another sense, we do a lot of the same things.
Mhm.
And yet here we are, guys, this isn't competition. I
Yeah.
really want to bring that in because I know so many people are afraid to build these type of close relationships because she might steal my ideas or all of this if you're sharing and having that kind of stuff. And instead, we build each other up. I mean, I know I'm stronger for having you in my life. And
Oh, right back at you.
I mean, I am. And it's like you build me up and it helps me stand out and bring my magic more. And I hope I'm feeling like I'm doing the same thing for you and really encouraging that because it's not about competition. It's about building ourselves up and really helping the other person stand out. I mean, that's what it's here for is to highlight you in this. Yes, I get some of it, but I want to highlight you because a lot of people really need you and you're doing an area of magic that I don't dive deep into. I touch on it and that's it. That's for somebody like you to really get into. Somebody really wants to get clear on their positioning. They really want to showcase and have that 100% clarity on their stories and being able to say who they are and what they are 100% confidence. They need to come talk to you.
Absolutely. I love how people position and present themselves to the world. It goes back to when I was 17. I just realized I wanted to be in PR from age 17 on. So it's kind of in a different way. It's the same thing. It's helping people share their story, in the
Yeah.
professional sense. And it's absolutely good. And going back to this collaboration thing, we would never be competition because we're so unique in the way we talk, we think, we
Yeah.
have our thing. There's no, and also too, the right people someone who's right for me may not be for you and vice versa. And it's not that you're wrong for them. It's just we fit better. I find the
Yeah.
word fit is the most comforting, reassuring word. Like, is this the best fit for you? And that way it's not saying I'm right or wrong. It just, we have to fit like a puzzle piece. And so that's the beauty. We're not competition. And when you truly own what I teach, when you're owning your lane of your uniqueness and what you bring, you don't ever, here's my line. When you own your lane, there's never traffic, right? You're absolutely clear and sailing in what you do best.
You're in your own Autobahn lane, right? You can go as
Oh
fast
yeah,
as you
you're in
want.
the Autobahn, not just your lane, you're an Autobahn. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, and see that's the thing. We all need to lean into what makes us unique, embrace that, own it, and get out and help people solve that problem you're here for. Then there is no second guessing or looking off the side, and we can all just go get faster, farther, and make big things happen. Money, financial fulfillment, all that is entwined when you do that.
Yeah, life is just so much better, so much easier. As Willie says, collaboration, not competition. 100%. It's all of those
Absolutely.
things.
Willie's got some smart words there. I got to go meet you.
You do. Yeah, Willie's a great guy. You really do got to meet him. So, what is one last small piece of advice you want to leave everybody with today?
Okay, so if you're feeling stuck, not in the like who I am, like depression wise, but like how do I talk about myself? I can tell you find a way to get really clear and own that message so you can stand out and get to the right people. Because when you stay in just that weird place where I sort of know what I'm doing, I'm sort of not, I'm too close to it, it's defeating. I've been there. Like, even though I help people, I know what it's like when you have the clarity on how to get out there and talk about yourself, things just start going boom, boom, boom. People notice you, you get on LinkedIn, the right people, and it's getting super narrow in that. And no, you don't have to restrict what you do. It's just finding what you do best and how you're unique with it. Owning that professional story is truly the catalyst for so much, Heidi. Everything rides on that, you know?
Yeah.
So that's
And
my
then actually doing it, taking action and talking about it, because practice is where you get good at it. Practice is
exactly.
perfect.
Practice getting out and talking about it on LinkedIn. So make sure I really like you. I'm not a LinkedIn coach. I make sure it's a tool and a platform. It's our personal brand website.
Same.
It's
Yep.
absolutely clear because people are looking you up, and then talk about it and then write about it, because we cannot understand you if you don't understand yourself first. We can't do business with you, choose you, unless you absolutely understand yourself first in the professional story and narrative. So that's what I help you do. So not saying you have to work with me, but just find that you will do yourself an immense favor. And the people who are waiting to hear from you, they need you.
Right? You're doing them a disservice if they can't find you.
And it's the nucleus for everything, and that's what it is. So then you go out and own your lane, get visible, get those opportunities, and feel good about it. Like, isn't it better when you're so clear and you're like, yeah, I'm helping people, and that's tremendous. So that's it. That's my tip.
Life is so much easier when you're feeling confident and clear about who you are and not confused.
Oh yeah. If you, in the words of Donald Miller, in 2020, I was a story brand guide. If you confuse, you lose, and that's pretty much it for life too, right? So
Right?
absolutely. So this has been tremendous. I always love talking to you, and we probably could talk to the days, 24 hours, but we'll
We
have to let
always
people
can.
go.
We always can.
Thank you for
But
having me again. It's been a great encore. I really appreciate it.
yeah, thanks so much for joining me again. And thank you to all our audience for bringing your
Yes.
energy, your questions, your thoughts to the conversation. We do appreciate you so much. You help
Yes.
us make these shows. And for anyone who could not join us live, please drop your biggest takeaways and your questions into the comments. Hashtag replay. We'll be sure to pop back by and answer them. Thanks again for joining me, Michelle. And
Thank you.
everyone have a wonderful day. And we'll see you same time, same place next